I don't know about you, but I want people to like me. I actually want you to like me. I want to do the best I can to put my best self out here on the internet, and I want to be liked. I think if we're honest, this is probably true for most of us. We want to be liked. We want to have and gain approval from other people. We live in this world where likes and approvals are everywhere. On our phones, we literally like things on Facebook or love them on Instagram or retweet them on Twitter if we like them. We honestly spend so much time seeking and trying to gain the approval of others. Sometimes, if you're maybe like me, we're afraid to say no because we don't want to disappoint other people because we long for their approval. I mean, think about it. From the time that we are kids, we are trying to be approved of, trying to be liked by friends, and we are crushed when we are rejected. I remember in junior high, I wanted to be in this friend group so badly that I would do almost anything to fit in. I wanted more than anything to be invited to something. I wanted to be invited to, anything at all, even if that thing wasn't in my own self-interest. We become approval addicts or maybe acceptance addicts. Think for a second to the length that people will go in order to gain acceptance or approval. Some people starve themselves in order to be liked for their body. Some people will do drugs or drink in order to be accepted by a certain crowd. And this becomes this unsaid currency where people, in exchange for their behavior, they will get approval. I'll behave the way you want in exchange for your approval and acceptance. And I want you to take a second and I want you to think about the coolest person that you could possibly ever imagine. Maybe a movie star or an athlete, maybe Pastor Hans, if you're a fan of Calvary, somebody who you think is just the coolest and the most awesome. All right, I hope you got somebody in mind. Now, we're going to go the other way. I want you to think about somebody who's just not very cool. Maybe somebody who's disconnected from others and they're kind of weird. Maybe they're a little bit EGR, extra grace required. And here's the thing. But here's the thing about both those people, both the coolest person and the EGR person. They both have the same number one need in life. It's true. They both are in need of acceptance. Now, I know some of you are already arguing with me and you're thinking, no, their number one need is not actually acceptance. It's food or water or something. But I want you to think for a second what people will give up of their own personal needs like food and water in order to be accepted or invited in by a group of people or out of an individual. I mean, it happens all the time. Now think about that very cool person again, or that very not cool EGR person. Transversely, they both actually have something else in common. They actually have the same number one fear. They're both afraid of being rejected. Yeah, sometimes people will actually reject people before they get the chance to reject them. Some people have been rejected so many times that they just quit trying, or they find a group of other rejected people to be accepted by. And so it's no wonder to me that we are in this loneliness epidemic in our country. Because fear of rejection, it runs rampant, and sometimes it feels just easier to not put yourself out there. But friends, what if our self-worth is not dependent on the approval of others? And here's the thing about Christianity. Christianity is the only world religion that I know of where God accepts you just as you are, where we are approved and accepted because of Jesus Christ's work on the cross, not because we have done anything to earn it. Now I know that there have been some preachers that maybe in the past have given you a different kind of message, that there's something that you need to do in order to be accepted or approved of by God. Like you need to have some kind of right behavior or some kind of declaration statement before you can get in good with God. But I think that is because this message of the Bible, this message of Jesus doing everything for us, it is so hard for us to believe. It is so revolutionary, so beyond our comprehension for us approval addicts to actually believe. It's hard for us to believe that we are loved, accepted, and approved of by the God of the universe through Christ alone, and that there is nothing that we could ever do or not do that would separate us from God's approval of us. You see, God is always, always coming to us, coming to love us, coming to accept us, coming to approve who we are, because God made us and God called us good. Brennan Manning, in his book, The Ragamuffin Gospel, he paraphrases the words of Romans chapter 8. He writes, "Who shall separate you from the love of Christ? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid that your weakness could separate you from the love of Christ? It can't. Are you afraid that your inadequacies could separate you from the love of Christ? They can't either. Are you afraid that your inner poverty could separate you from the love of Christ? It can't. Are you afraid of your difficult marriage or loneliness or anxiety of your children's future? They can't. What about negative self-image? It can't either. Economic hardship or racial hatred, street crime? They can't either. Rejection by loved ones or the suffering of loved ones? They can't separate you from the love of Christ. Persecution of authorities or going to jail, can that do it? No, that can't either. You see, mistakes and fears and uncertainties, they can't either. The gospel calls out that nothing ever will separate you from the love of God made visible to us in Christ Jesus. Friends, you are so loved of and approved of and accepted by God that nothing ever that you can do or not do will ever be able to separate you from that. Now, I think that this is huge, freeing news, and there is nothing more than I want to do than tell others who have that same need of acceptance and that same fear of rejection all about it. I just want the whole world to feel that, and I hope you do too. This week, we're going to continue to explore more of searching for significance, and we're going to unpack some of these messages like approval addiction that we hear over and over, and we're going to match them up and compare them to what God really says about us. If you're somebody who's watching on Facebook, would you go ahead and share this with your friends? Will you tell them that you accept and approve of them? Because I know that they need to hear it. If you're watching on YouTube, would you go ahead and hit subscribe? And if you're joining us on cable access, thank you for being here. I'm really honored. Invite a friend to join you tomorrow.
Worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one we could ever sing. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside